Despite the good works that can be accomplished without a church, the fullness of doctrine and its saving and exalting ordinances are available only in the restored church.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. The majority of the world don't know about, don't care, therefore, about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It shouldn't upset Mormons. They shouldn't get easily emotionally triggered, fall into despair, or get angry that people do not accept and acknowledge their existence. But if you don't know, YouTube is a regular company, just regular company. It's not run by the church, per se. And so as such, you'd think that YouTube really wouldn't care about critical voices of the church, let alone the church itself. They just let them go, because it's a religion protected by the First Amendment, and so critical voices likewise protected by the First Amendment. And if you don't know, YouTube has an algorithm program rather than straight stat numbers. And so it's not the real numbers that you're seeing from your perspective. As creators, we get to see our stats, but they're analytics, and they're not straight stats. So it's based on the algorithm, not on an actual real-time counting. And so there's delays and other such problems with algorithms. And so it actually hurts us as creators when we're trying to know and understand our audience. But it's beneficial in order to favor certain channels and censor other channels. Now, why would YouTube do that? Wouldn't have anything to do with money, would it? Yeah, it does. And so if you're oblivious to the algorithm fiasco for not just YouTube, but for all the other social media platforms, Facebook just had a whistleblower expose their algorithm scandal, for example. I don't know why Facebook isn't just shut down altogether. You have the guy favoring Russia to attack presidential elections, and his company, let alone himself, is not shut down, and he locked up in prison for being a traitor? My goodness, our justice system really sucks. But the other day, I had a breakout video. And a breakout video is what I term a video that has found a way to bypass the algorithm to get the views that I would normally get were it a straight stat. And I caught YouTube not only deleting views, but deleting likes. Wow. Hadn't seen something like that since I did the videos on DesNat. And so why would YouTube target me for censorship? They have to lie to me to justify banning videos and shutting down my channel for a short period of time. They have to lie. But why? YouTube's just a regular company, right? Nobody cares about the church. First Amendment's already protected for the church and for me. So why? If you're curious, you'll see it on Travis Wayne Goodsell. It's Mormons betray their faith as Joseph Smith's prophecies fulfilled. And it goes over how Christian churches use the exact same symbol with the exact same Christ that Mormons do. Exactly the same. No difference, except the Mormons claim that their Christus is real, has a body of flesh and bone and blood, as tangible as man's. And Christians believe in Trinity. But the exact same symbol representation of Jesus coming out of the tomb and built on top of the church. Exact same symbol. If you do not understand, Jesus is supposed to be the cornerstone, not the church. But there's that whole Messer splits about Peter being named Peter, which is seer in Egyptian, and therefore being told that he will be the foundation of the church, no longer Jesus. And so the Catholics, in order to make this true, claim they have the body of Peter in a casket in the catacombs under the Vatican. Upon this rock shall I establish my church, or build my church. Huh. Isn't that special? And of course nobody's allowed in the tomb to actually examine the body to verify if you have to watch or is it read? It's Angels and Demons, I believe, where Dan Brown's character, Tom Hanks' character, which SNL was cut short yesterday because of the Omicron wave of coronavirus. Dear God. Anyway. But Angels and Demons, they talk about it, at least in the book prior to the movie, if not in the movie, in the revised book after the movie. Have both, Dan. Keep both. And so, my videos are not like other critics of the church, because having done my research, and when I say that, people don't understand what I mean, and so I have to do videos explaining how I do my research. I even do my videos showing you how I do my research, where always it's a bombshell video, if you can endure the hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long video, to where I finally get to the bombshell. But I expose the crimes of the church. Polygamy is a crime, for example. Oaks just did a thing talking about polygamy being a religious freedom that the United States was persecuting the church for. And that was just recently. The church are involved in a misinformation, disinformation, altering of historical information campaign. Did Jesus tell them to do it? Did Jesus tell them to commit crime? Apparently, because Jesus in the past has told presidents of the church to be racist, sexist, bigoted, and hateful of the poor. So I guess if Jesus can do that, he can do anything. Mormons don't say it, because Jesus is real, and so it's not a crime, it's not racism, sexism, bigotry, hatred of the poor if Jesus says to do it. And they don't have a clue what they're thinking. And not only crimes, but we're talking overthrow of the government crimes. We're talking not just the American government. We're talking all governments of the world, even of our enemies whom the church has paid with our tithing, which those enemy nations are using on America for what they call a world war. The cyber attacks. We just had another one from Russia last week. And I understand there was another one through China as well. Or at least exposed a vulnerability that China can, something like that. But the Russian one, I did the video on about how it, again, used a Mormon company to facilitate the ransomware attack. SolarWinds was last year, Kronos is this year. And our government can't put the pieces together? You know, maybe it's because, like I said, the majority of the world just doesn't know about and therefore doesn't care about the church. They don't make the connection. And it's just me who's given the money trail away. But Nelson does it over the pulpit of conference when he talks about our enemy nations and temples. Really? Where is that Russian temple? How much money did you give Russia? Oh, they gave you money in return? And what did you do with it? Oh, you laundered it through the stock market for them. Interesting. That's what's called compromat by the Russians. And our government is clueless. Even the UAE, remember? We've got a temple going up there too. I just saw the news, both in August and then in October. The UAE has cracked down on massive money laundering rings. There was a gang of 40 that got busted, and then there was another group of 8 that got busted for money laundering. And the church is doing business there? Huh. That's kind of risky, because it seems like they're all in for shutting down money laundering operations. Is Nelson sure he knows what he's doing over there? And I don't think our enemies fully grasp that the church will betray them. That the church plans on taking over Russia, taking over China, taking over North Korea, taking over Brazil, taking over Saudi Arabia, taking over Israel. I don't think they fully comprehend what the church is planning. But this whole religious freedom movement is an obvious, blatant display of terrorism. Because the church promotes it, Mormons go, yeah, religious freedom. They go around demanding religious freedom. I'm Mormon, back off. Travis, back off. You're invading our religious freedom. Am I? Or has the church already taken yours away? See, we all know that the religious freedom movement got started with gay marriage. But step back, look at the bigger picture. Are you, as Mormons, wanting to take away the religious freedom of others? Whose doctrine in the premortal council in heaven was it to take away freedom? Oh, you didn't think about that, did you? Or you refuse to believe. So you deny Mormonism. Which is it? Do you deny Mormonism, or do you refuse to believe it? But at the same time, there's this thing called the First Amendment that already gives religious freedom. Religion already is allowed to be racist, sexist, bigoted, but they can't neglect the poor if they want to be tax exempt. That's a dilemma. Maybe that's what it's really for. That they're just claiming it's to protect from the gay agenda. So the church doesn't have to seal gay couples in the temples. There is no requirement for it. They didn't even have to redesign their genealogy program. Because all you do is select one of the gay parent couples to be the father and the other to be the mother. They already have an adopted version thing in there. And so the church has nothing to fear with blacks coming in, with LGBTQIAPO plus coming in, with women. Only the poor they have to fear. And they purposely caused more poor to cause more of a problem in Utah with Operation Rio Grande. But if the church doesn't want to give women the priesthood, the United States isn't going to force them. Even women's rights, Kate Kelly of Ordained Women, they can yell and scream and get emotional all they want. The church just has to say, no. If you don't like it, leave. And blacks, we want to be included in the regular white wards around Utah. We don't want to be corralled into the segregated ward of Genesis. Wah! Start your own religion. That's the religious freedom in the Constitution. And if you're gay and you want to be sealed in the temple, nope. Not allowed. because the church are bigots, and they've got the religious freedom to do so. But this is where the problem has come with the Christian loophole. See, the nation allows gay marriage. So what about getting a cake or a wedding planner or going to a medical doctor and other such regular features in our economy? And you have a Mormon in charge of the business. Well, Mormons are already committing treason by facilitating Russian hacks on our system, but they don't want to serve humans and obtain their money simply because you as a Mormon are a racist, sexist, bigot, because the church prophets are. You've crossed the line. You are not allowing other people their rights. You're trying to take them away. So when it comes to religious stuff, the churches can be as hateful as they want. But when it comes to the nation and our communities and the economy and our government, nope. Keep religion out. And it's tough when the state of Utah is all filled with Mormons in business and in government. Try suing the church in the federal courts here in Utah. They're all Mormon or compromised. The Chief Justice is an ex-Mormon, but clearly compromised. And then there's Campbell. She's not Mormon, but clearly compromised, because she knows she wants to keep her job. Because they fired Justice first, because she allowed a case against the church to proceed. How dare she? You cannot have religion controlling government, especially when it takes away the rights of others. Again, whose doctrine in the premortal council of heaven was it? To take away agency, to take away freedom, to take away rights. See, nobody should be forced to be Mormon. The church shouldn't even keep such detailed membership records and keep the records of those who want nothing to do with the church ever again or were excommunicated. They need to burn those records, delete them from the computer systems. Stick to a straight count for church attendance. We all know Doctrine and Covenants. Many are called, few are frozen. An amen to the authority of the priesthood for those who are bad. If the church is going to use Joseph Smith's scriptures, if they're going to claim Joseph Smith as the founder, why do they keep lying about him? And why do they keep telling us that he's constantly wrong and needed to be corrected? Moroni, for example. Joseph always said Nephi. So Joseph was wrong. It was Moroni. Joseph, the one and only person who saw him, was wrong about who he was? Really? And then he was wrong. He actually used a rock and a hat He didn't actually look at the plates to make his translation. He was wrong. And many others equally as hilarious, because nobody is putting the pieces of the puzzle together, ex-Mormons. That's why the church doesn't go after you, because you criticize Joseph for using a rock and a hat, and the church doesn't care. That's not a threat to them. Pointing out that it's coded communication warning us of the dangers of the current church, being the great and abominable church, that will seek to overthrow the government. Yeah, that's what concerns them. That's why I'm targeted and you're not. And so YouTube, in censoring my videos, are aiding and abetting in the insurrection of our government, committing acts of terrorism. And the church does this. That's what they do to Mormons. They get Mormons and others compromised, compromat, to have them commit the crimes on behalf of the church. All the prophets have to do is say religious freedom, Jesus, and Mormons are instantly, I must kill, I must hate, I must go to the Capitol and overthrow the government. Mormons were there too. So, the church, I told you, sent me threats to be silent, and I again neglected them, and they again punished me. I am now officially destroyed, and my time is now shorter with each passing second. And so I have no hope in our government to step in to save me. And apparently I have no hope in my God either. Where were you Friday? But yeah, I did the follow-up videos that shows that apparently this is extended. Yeah, well, if you don't come up with results, I have to lose hope in you. I have to stop believing in you. So cut it out and start fulfilling prophecy.